This week I am driving one of the most underappreciated new sports cars you can buy. Yep, it's the Toyota Supra. And when you take a brilliant BMW straight six and you combine it with a chassis that is, well, like it's on rails, to use a cliche, you get a car that in my mind is fantastic. But Tommy is driving a very similar car.
That's right, I've got the new Toyota Supra in the 4-cylinder version, and I have to say, no, you're wrong, Dad. It's a great car, but underappreciated, I'm not so sure.
Now at TFL, when we review a car, we use an acronym called Spruce V, and that stands for style, performance, ride and handling, utility, value, and economy. And on all those points, the Supra just is off the charts. So let's start with styling, and Tommy, you can give me your counter reasons why you think I am wrong. Now, as you guys know, BMW has gone to that beaver tooth grille, but look at these Supras. This is a bird of prey front fascia. It's mean, it's aggressive, dare I say it's sexy. What more could you want out of a vehicle than this sharp-nosed, sharp-eyed, I am in your rearview mirror and you better take me serious look?
I do agree these are incredibly good-looking cars, but I'm not so sure there's a lot of folks out there that would disagree. One of the reasons I don't think it's particularly underappreciated, I think that a lot of folks think these are beautiful-looking cars. Now let's talk about some of the design differences between the 2-liter and the 3-liter Supra, because there are very, very few. Typically when a manufacturer comes out with a higher version of a vehicle, a more high-performance version, it's going to be very visually different, but it's hard to tell the 2-liter from the straight six. So one of the big differences are the wheel and tire package and the brakes. So you can see the brakes are much smaller on the 4-cylinder car compared to the 6-cylinder, and of course you've got the red brake calipers, but the aero treatment is almost identical along the front end. Coming to the rear end, almost no differences except for the exhaust, which are just a little bit bigger on the 3-liter compared to the 2-liter.
Greetings, my friends. This video is brought to you by our friends at Manscaped.com. The right man needs the right tools to get the right job done properly. Recently, Manscaped came out with the waterproof Lawnmower 4.0. And now, to make things better, Manscaped presents the Performance Package 4.0 Bundle. Manscaped now has an all-in-one kit that simplifies everything. The lawnmower includes replaceable ceramic blades, wireless charging, and a built-in LED. On top of that, Manscaped even offers you the Weed Whacker nose and ear hair trimmer. That's in their performance pack. And as a bonus, a bottle of ball deodorant and ball toner. You lucky dog. To make sure you never run out of supplies, you can enroll in the Peak Hygiene Plan. Go to manscaped.com today and get 20% off plus free international shipping. For a limited time, you can get 2 free gifts, the Shed Travel Bag and the Manscaped Anti-Chaffing Boxer Briefs. That's when you use the promo code FASTLANECAR at checkout. Take it from me, your balls, your body, and others will thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there. This turbocharged straight six BMW is one of the best engines. No, I'm gonna say the best engine you could buy today. It's that good. It revs to high hell, puts out about 280 horsepower, about 270 pound-foot of torque, and this vehicle will do 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. What more do you want out of a sports car? Tommy, what's under the hood of yours?
Well, this one has the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. Both of these power plants are shared with the BMW counterparts, the Z4. This one makes 255 horsepower and 295 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 time on this one, somewhere around 5 seconds. I agree, both of these are excellent powertrains. You can't get the Supra in a manual transmission. You can get it in this fantastic 8-speed automatic. But once again, I'm not sure that these engines are underappreciated. I think people really respect these engines to a large extent. Even though they are BMW-based units, they are super, super potent. It was kind of a cliche, oh, the Supra is just a rebadged BMW, but I think a lot of that has kind of died down now, and people just appreciate the Supra for what it is, which is a really fast and potent vehicle.
I completely disagree. Every time I pull up somewhere with this car, people are like, oh, you're driving a BMW. And you know what? When you combine the brilliant engine tech of a BMW with the rock-solid reliability of a Toyota, you've got a hybrid that is the best of both breeds.
Well, if it's made by neither Toyota or BMW, it's actually made in Austria by the same folks that do the G-Wagon, does it have the rock-solid reliability of both of them? That's a good question.
No, you just answered it yourself with one word, G-Wagon. All right, Tommy, would you say that sales are the best way to determine if a vehicle is appreciated or underappreciated?
Not really, because I think a car can be appreciated by enthusiasts, but not much purchased if it's too expensive or priced wrong. Or
I mean, I could draw a direct correlation between how many are sold and how much appreciated it is. But anyway, let me make my point. How many Supras do you think Toyota has sold in the first 6 months of this year?
15,000.
4.5.
Right. But I will say the Cadillac CTS V-Wagon was very much appreciated, but they only sold like 9 of them.
All right, by journalists. So let's keep that, little asterisk as part of this conversation. How many RAV4s do you think Toyota has sold in the same 6 months?
Well, that's like saying how many battleships did I don't know, the military army construct. There's two different vehicles.
How many do you think?
Nah, it doesn't matter, Dad. 400 million.
Almost a 250,000, dude.
Yes, but of course they're going to sell more RAV4s.
4,500. That is the definition of underappreciated.
No, it just means it's undersold. I don't think that they're selling many of these cars because it's a 2-door convertible sports car, and that's just not a popular.
Here's what I think happened, right? I think that there's a real disconnect between what people thought this car was going to be and what it ended up turning out to be. Everybody thought it was going to be the next version of the Mark IV, right?
Okay.
Right, with that bulletproof Toyota sourced engine.
Right.
Right, and the Fast and Furious franchise hype, right?
Right.
Instead, for various reasons, the economy of scale, they decided to partner with BMW and built a completely different car and then stuck a Supra name on it, right? And I think that got a lot of people, but I love that. That's got a lot of people bummed. And I don't know why they're bummed about it, because it's a great car.
I mean, I understand some of the confusion, right? You buy a Toyota and then you look throughout and it's full of BMW switches, and if you're an average car enthusiast, that can be a little bit weird, but it does drive and handle beautifully. I think the 2-liter is in a lot of ways better than the 3-liter. This little engine, not super high revving. It starts to redline just over 6,000 RPM, but lots of low-end torque, classic kind of BMW low-end turbocharged torque in this little 4-cylinder, like you'd expect in a 330i, for example. It's lighter. It's a couple hundred pounds lighter than the straight 6, and it picks up like stink. It really, really does. I mean, it doesn't have the rear limited slip like yours, but realistically, for someone like me, unless you're on a track, just a casual driver, maybe going up in the canyons, do you really need the LSD? Probably not. And it's cheaper, so you're not as worried about, thrashing it around a little.
When I was, like I said, younger, in the heyday of the Supra, right, where it competed against the 300ZX and the Mitsubishi, right, what made the magic in these cars was that you could get basically a supercar killer with Japanese reliability for a fraction of the price. The problem today is that, you can't compare this to, let's say, a McLaren or a Lamborghini.
No, it's not a supercar killer.
Right, but back then, you could take on a Ferrari, because Ferraris, let's face it, had a lot of reputation, but speed was not one of the things that they actually excelled at. I remember, a 308 or a 328 or a 348 would get trounced by a Supra all day long.
It is a Miata killer.
It is a Miata killer.
But so would taking the bus in a lot of ways.
All right, let's talk about utility, or as Tommy would say, the lack thereof. Look, it's not huge. You could probably get like 2 rollerboards in here, but you know what? For a sports car, and having grown up with an RX-7 and a 300ZX, this is pretty much what I would expect out of an athletic performance vehicle that, is not supposed to haul you and your family anywhere.
I'm not really sure why my dad is making me out as the villain here, because I do think that the Supra is extremely practical for what it is. It's a real hatchback versus another sports car in the Lexus Toyota world, the LC, that's got a little trunk. I think this is a really, really brilliant setup, and I think actually most people would agree. My dad, for some reason, thinks that people really have a bone to pick with the Supra. I think it's plenty appreciated, and I think folks that own these really like the space in the trunk.
Now, Tommy, I think, is going to make the argument that people are going to cross-shop a 2-seater like the Supra with a 4-seater like the Camaro or the Mustang, and value-wise, you can get a GT with more horsepower for less money. But I think getting a 2-seater that is razor sharp as a sports car for an as-tested price of $57,000 is a bargain, and especially when you think that Tommy's is actually $10K less expensive.
The base GR 2-liter Supra starts at about 43. Compare that to the base 6-cylinder, which starts at about 51. That's a spread of about 8,000, but as equipped, it's about a 10K difference between these two. Now, I do genuinely think that folks are cross-shopping the Supra with vehicles like the Challenger Scat Pack, maybe even the Hellcat, Ford Mustang, the top-end Mustangs, maybe the Nissan 370Z, maybe even a WRX, because even though 2-seater to 4-seater, let's be real, for a while there, the Wrangler's biggest competition was, believe it or not, a power boat. People are not all that practical when it comes to cross-shopping fun vehicles. So what do you think of this color, nitro yellow?
I love it, man. If you're gonna have a sports car, it should be loud and proud.
I agree, it's just an absolute stunner in this bright yellow. So 3-liter, sounds better.
Yeah, and it revs to high hell, dude. I mean, like I said, I think this is one of the best engines, if not the best engine that's made today. BMW has built straight sixes for their entire lifetime, and you know, they know how to build a straight six that is smooth, that is powerful, and that puts a smile on your face when you put the pedal to the metal.
And the cool thing too is, and we've heard reports about this as well, there is some concern that, BMW parts, is that going to have any effect on Toyota's legendary reliability? Well, apparently this car was tested just as thoroughly by Toyota as any other vehicle that they would produce in-house. So this had to meet the same rigorous criteria, which is pretty cool to hear.
Yeah, look, the thing is, sports cars are just out of favor right now. So I'm actually thankful that Toyota actually built this, even if they built it with BMW, and I'm actually super thrilled that, and I disagree with you, I don't think people cross-shop this with like a Mustang or a Camaro. I think they will cross-shop it against the upcoming 400 ZX.
Yeah, but you forget how expensive Mustang, I mean, this is what, a $57,000 car, right? Yeah. You forget how expensive that some of those high-end Mustangs and Camaros can get well into the 50s now. So I do,
the Mach 1.
I do think, yeah, there is definitely a little bit of cross-shop going on.
Here's my favorite part, watch.
All right.
Ready?
Yep. Jesus. That is very, very, very quick.
I want to say like just under 4 seconds, Tommy.
Right.
And it could put the power down, unlike that Hellcat you think people cross-shop this against.
Yeah, maybe I'll get some backlash from the comments, but I do think that there's some of that going on. From a handling standpoint, obviously, so much more superior than any muscle car, in my opinion. Even the Mustang, which has become a very good handling vehicle, this feels smaller and lighter and more tossable.
You know how I know it's a good track car? Because when I took it on the track,
yep,
it scared the pants off of me.
There you go. Scared the pants off of me doing 0 to 60 there. Didn't even need to go to the track then.
You need to know, what you're doing. This is definitely, you brought a knife to a knife fight when you're taking this to the track.
A knife to a knife fight.
Exactly.
Don't you mean a gun to a knife fight?
Well, maybe a bazooka to a knife fight. It's razor sharp. I mean, that was the analogy I was going for.
It's a very precision machine, absolutely. Yeah, and the brakes are very good, and this one, of course, has that limited slip. So if you want to do mad skids, this is probably going to be the one for you.
Now, back in the day when I was a younger man, I had a 300ZX twin turbo. If I recall right, when I was driving that, I was getting like high teens, low 20s. This car with 80 more horsepower gets 25 mpg combined and 30 on the highway. That to me is, well, just phenomenal. I mean, could be a Prius, right, Tommy?
I pretty much agree completely. This 4-cylinder is rated at 28 combined and up to 32 on the highway, which is pretty amazing. Is it a Prius? Well, probably not. But are you buying a 2-seater sports car for fuel economy? Also probably not. When we compare the interiors between the 2-liter and the 3-liter, we do see a lot of similarities and some differences. First of all, mostly BMW switchgear in here, from the gear selector to the iDrive system to the climate controls, the volume knob, the screen, even the steering wheel buttons. Pretty much all BMW, including the little startup thing. Yep, that's BMW too. But we do see some differences between the base car and the 3-liter, starting with the seats. This has cloth seats with this perforation. I think it looks pretty good. They're also manually adjustable seats. Also don't see wireless charging in this vehicle, whereas we do in the yellow Supra, but for the most part almost identical in here. Also, this vehicle does not have a heads-up display, even though we do have, if we look on the sticker, the $3,485 safety and technology package. Stepping inside the more expensive 3-liter, pretty much identical in here with the exception of the leather seats with the power adjustment, the wireless charging pad here, and then the heads-up display. And let me see on this sticker, $57,185 is the total price, and that includes the $1,100 driver assist package.
Tommy, fast forward 20 years when we're all driving around in little electric bubble cars. And people won't give a rat's ass about the fact that that Toyota doesn't have a manual or that it's a BMW underneath. They will be clawing at each other to buy one, and they'll be crazy expensive. So I say, get it while it's underappreciated, and don't wait until people figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt that in 20 years when you're in your little bubble, you'll be wish you were behind the wheel of a Turbo 6. I think that they are both fantastic cars. I'm just not so sure they're underrated. I mean, when they first launched, they got kind of a lot of criticism, but now that they've been out for some time, I think people really know what they are, and they appreciate them for what they do.
As always, this is Roman.
And Tommy, check out TFLcar.com for
news, views, and real-world reviews. And don't forget to check out our new TikTok channel, where I'm telling you everything I love and hate about the new Supra. See you guys next time. Ciao.